I've never seen a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. Um, I always use this analogy because I don't even put LeBron above Kobe. LeBron is getting ready to pass Michael in the most 30-point games. To not have passed Michael in 30-point games, and he's played, I think he's on year 20, right? That he's still behind Michael and he's played 7 years longer. LeBron's a nice guy. Nobody ever said that shit about Michael and Kobe. Yeah. No, and they're like, yo, man, these dudes out here trying to kill people.
For a lot of NBA fans nowadays, one thing we're growing increasingly tired of is the age-old GOAT debate, and the notion LeBron James is on Jordan's level. And whether you look at Fox Sports, ESPN, or even LeBron himself, they're always pushing the same old narrative that LeBron James is the greatest player to ever live.
That one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
I'm gonna take myself against anybody that's ever played this game.
No, he gotta call me like 2-3 or Bron. Okay. Or, GOAT if he want to.
The GOAT, respectfully, LeBron James.
G-O-A-T. What are you talking about?
Holzer. Long shot here, off.
The idea LeBron and Jordan are 1A, 1B, interchangeable, or even 1 and 2 all time, I reject at face value. As looking at LeBron James, his overall GOAT case, claim for the top spot in NBA history, never really got off the ground in the first place, as of course 2011 had the biggest meltdown epic choke job into self-combustion on the biggest stage in basketball.
How can you be disengaged in the biggest game to put your foot on the Dallas Mavericks' neck and go up 3-1?
That series right there in 2011, it's the biggest stain, blunder, and black mark on any all-timer's legacy. It's worse than Kobe in 2004, Steph in 2016, or even Tragic Johnson in 1984. It is definitively worse than all those. It's of course LeBron in 2011. He was the heavy favorite, had 2 All-Stars, 2 top 10 players. He had anointed himself as the king of the NBA, who won multiple championships off the bat, and of course, he blew a 2-1 lead in the process, getting owned by Jason Terry.
Nowitzki wants the ball. Haslam again. Excellent ball denial. Terry, a long 3. Bang!
Is this your game?
As bad as that series was for LeBron James, a lot of LeBron fans, they chalk it up to one series, one bad moment, and that's all it was. Well, I'm here to tell you guys LeBron James, pre-2011, had multiple huge blunders, failures, and disappointments. And in terms of LeBron versus Jordan, I want to make one thing very clear. Jordan pre-91, yes, he was losing, but Jordan the individual player was showing up in every series. LeBron pre-2012 was choking, folding, and underperforming as the favorite. And looking at one of those forgotten choke jobs of LeBron James, we have 2010 versus Boston. LeBron's Cavs this series, they were the favorite, had the better record, home court advantage, the higher seed, expected to win and make the NBA Finals to play Kobe's Lakers. And of course, through 3 games, they were actually up 2-1 and well on their way. Now, the final 3 games LeBron James absolutely crapped the bed, averaging 21.3 points per game, 34% shooting, 15% from 3, with 6.3 turnovers.
What is that smell?
LeBron James, struggling, very much so, especially in the first half. No field goals, 0 of 4.
That's the smell of desire, my lady.
After going up 2-1 versus the Celtics, LeBron in 3 straight games just did not show up and was absolutely abysmal. And for the self-proclaimed king, he wasn't even a queen, a knight, even a jester. LeBron in this series, he was a peasant, and he quit on Cleveland for the first of 2 times. If you want to claim you're the greatest player of all time, undisputed GOAT, series like this make it really hard to believe. And compared to Michael Jordan in his career, yes, versus the Pistons blew a 2-1 lead in 1989. Now comparing the overall numbers when they blew that lead, Jordan's overall playing production far superior to LeBron James in his series versus LeBron series. And here's the added context. Jordan 89 was the underdog, the 6th seed, did not have home court advantage. LeBron 2010 had all the advantages.
Correct!
And once again, looking at a series versus Boston, we have 2008. And for LeBron yet again, a very questionable, iffy series where he was average at best. And for a lot of LeBron fans with this series, what do they do off the bat? They jump immediately to Game 7 in the Boston Garden, where LeBron James had a very good ball game, putting up 45 points. Now, as good as LeBron's stats were in this game, in the big-time fourth-quarter moments really did not come through.
Into Wallace, back to James, a three, won't go.
Yo, watch out.
Advance to the conference finals. Pierce, House, Brown the jump shot.
Now, as bad as those blunders were right there, LeBron James still had a chance to tie this game up with under 40 seconds left, and what did he do? An air ball layup.
Half minute to go. James looking on the drive, gets inside, tough shot, misses, and Garnett the
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
And for a lot of LeBron fans watching this video, what they'll say is, well, you know, taking Boston to Game 7, that on its own is a big-time deal. And I guess so, but LeBron from Games 1 through 6, he was simply abysmal. In those games, under 24 points, nearly 6 turnovers, 32% shooting, and 21% from 3. The fact LeBron played that bad was so atrocious, and it still went 7, is a credit to the Cavaliers team as a whole. And once again, to compare to Michael Jordan, MJ 1990 taking the Pistons to 7 games, his production level of play was infinitely higher. As versus Detroit, 32 points, under 3 turnovers, 46% shooting with a game score of 25.1.
Not bad.
Like I've said time and time again, every player in NBA history has lost a game or a series, but a lot of times it's how you lose and how you go out. And again, compared to Jordan, LeBron this series just was not like Mike. Game 1 in Boston, 2 of 18 shooting, missed the game-tying layup.
It's LeBron's turn with the rock guarded by James Posey. Z comes to the screen. LeBron gets by the finger roll for the tie. How did he miss that shot?
Game 2 also in the Boston Garden, 25% shooting. Game 3, 31%, and Game 4, 35%. This Cavs team, despite LeBron James averaging 18 points per game, 5 turnovers, on 25% shooting, they were tied 2-2 with the mighty Boston Celtics.
It just don't add up!
LeBron James numerous times just had these games where offensively, he wouldn't show up. And looking at LeBron's pre-championship days, he had a grand total of 15 games under 35% shooting. 07 had 5 of them, 08 had 4 of them, all consecutive, and 2011 had 2. Now, Michael Jordan pre his championship, 6 total years, only had 4 such games under 35% shooting. LeBron vs. Boston alone equaled MJ in 6 separate years. Damn! And also one thing I do want to do to nail this point home about MJ pre his championships versus LeBron pre his, and how different they were as players. If you look at their worst overall playoff series by game score and advanced metric, and rank them accordingly lowest to highest, LeBron James out of the bottom 10 compared to Jordan has 8 of the 10, including the top 6 lowest finishes. Of course, the lowest being 07 versus the Spurs, then versus Dallas, then versus Boston, 06 versus the Pistons, 07 versus the Nets, and then again versus Boston in 2011. MJ's worst overall series pre-championship was 1988 versus the Pistons, and that being MJ's worst is still better than 6 different LeBron series pre his title days.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
And looking past their worst series pre-championship, let's look at their best series and who ranked the highest. Out of the top 10, Michael Jordan had 6 of the 10, including the entire top 5. That being 90 versus Philly, 88 versus Cleveland, 89 versus the Knicks, 89 versus the Cavs, and 86 versus Boston. So what does that show us right there? Michael Jordan's highs pre-championship much higher than LeBron James. And the inverse, LeBron's lows, much lower, much more damning than any of Jordan's worst series pre-championship.
That's a fact.
Now, also one thing I do have to touch on is which player pre-championship had the bigger down moments, the worst duds, and it's the bigger black marks in single playoff games. Michael Jordan's worst overall game pre-championship in a series he lost was Game 3 versus Detroit in 1988. His game score in that game was 12.9, which is not fantastic. Now, compared to LeBron James, looking at game scores, 13 and under, which are pretty bad games for a superstar. LeBron James had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 9 separate games that were worse than Jordan's worst game. And of course, looking at that list, LeBron vs. Boston had a negative game score, something Jordan never did in any game in his playoff career.
You stink.
Now, staying with Jordan really quickly, his second worst game-by-game score pre-championship in a series he lost was 13.9 versus the Pistons in Game 4, 1989. LeBron James pre-championship, games with a game score below 14, he had a whopping 13 games. And of course, looking at that list, the Mavericks series, a couple of Celtics series, even the Spurs series in 07, where LeBron simply did not show up and show out like a superstar should.
Timeout. James on the drive, fires a three.
Move this man!
And to kind of go full circle right here, looking at that Mavericks series, he had 4 straight games that series with a game score below 14. Again, Michael Jordan pre-championship only had 2 such games in a series he lost. LeBron James had 4 of those in a row, back to back to back to back. Jordan's games weren't the same year, the same series, let alone in back-to-back games. For a guy like LeBron James in 2011 who is 26 years old, smack dab in the middle of his prime, a 2-time MVP, and somebody dubbed the best player in the world, to have that performance on the biggest stage is simply inexcusable. And looking at how he played in the fourth quarters, I mean, this right here just kills his GOAT case right then, right there. Game 1 in the fourth quarter, 5 points, that's average. Game 2, 2 points, 0% shooting, that's abysmal. Game 3, also 2 points, abysmal. Game 4, 0 points, 0% shooting, the worst of the worst. And Game 5, 2 points, 25% shooting. That right there is 4 straight games LeBron James was a no-show in the fourth quarter, with his team having the ability to win all those games.
Oh, he's joking. He's joking!
For Michael Jordan's entire playoff career, you can't point to a moment or a series where he cost his team a championship and choked away a ring. LeBron in 2011 did just that. So that right there is the end of the video, and I'll say one last thing. Michael Jordan's pre-championship days, they kind of get tossed in the trash, they get crapped on, and really undervalued. But looking at Jordan pre-championship, I mean, he had countless great series, great moments, where he came through in big-time spots for his Bulls team. And compared to LeBron James, didn't have nearly the amount of blunders, failures, or black marks on his resume pre-championship or post-championship. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.